Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our 2013 NFL team preview for the Cleveland Browns. We're going to break down their offense, their defense, as well as their special teams to see what we can expect from the Browns this upcoming season.
What you saw from Brandon Weeden last season is what you expected to see from a rookie quarterback. Some good, some bad, but most importantly, you saw improvement. I believe Weeden will have a much better year despite learning a new offense. He's going to benefit from both offensive coordinator North Turner and head coach Rob Jasinski. Both guys would cater their offense to his skill set, and you'll see a lot of what he did at Oklahoma State. What I saw last season regarding his improvement was the fact that his reads got better each and every week. What he really needs to improve on this year is his accuracy and anticipation. Backing him up is Jason Campbell, who has won a lot of games in this league and is a good guy to have on your roster. Campbell's football IQ is highly regarded around the league as one of the best. Trent Richardson displayed flashes last season of what made him the top back taken in the 2012 draft. He also showed underrated receiving skills as well. He wasn't asked to catch a lot of passes at Alabama. The issue with him is that he played banged up all season long. There's no doubting the talent that he has, but if he wants to realize his full potential, he's going to have to become a smarter runner, which means he's going to have to know when and when not to take or deliver a blow. If he can stay healthy, he's another player that will benefit from North Turner's offense. Behind Richardson, there's a lot of competition between Montario Hardesty, Chris Ogbonnaya, and Dion Lewis. In my personal opinion, I think Lewis would be my pick to be the backup. He brings more wiggle and potential as both a runner and receiver out of the backfield. Now also keep an eye on undrafted rookie free agent Miguel Masonette out of Stony Brook, who was one of the more productive backs in the country last season. The Browns also have a pretty good fullback in Owen Merrick, the third-year man out of Stanford. There's some good talent here for the Browns to work with, and Josh Gordon proved to be a pretty good pickup in the supplemental draft last season as he led the Browns in receiving with over 800 yards and 16.1 yards a catch. But he's already started the 2013 season off on the wrong foot by getting suspended for the first 4 games of the season. That really hurts the passing game right off the bat. Greg Little got better last season as he got more consistent with catching the football, and people have to remember that he's still learning the wide receiver position after being a running back partly at UNC. He led the team last season with 53 receptions and is very dangerous after the catch. Big fan of what they bring to the table in the slot with Devon Best, who came over in a trade. He was known as Mr. Third Down for the Dolphins, did a great job moving the chains. And Travis Benjamin, who as a rookie last year averaged 16.5 yards a catch. I'm also intrigued by David Nelson, who is beginning to emerge as a legit threat for the Buffalo Bills before suffering a season-ending injury in the first game of last season. Nelson is 6'5", 217 pounds, and could help ease the loss of Gordon for the first 4 games of this year if he's back at 100%. Now, I'm a big fan of tight end Jordan Cameron and what he brings to the table. Cameron is versatile enough to flex out as a wide receiver and does give North Turner options in this offense. They also bring in Kellen Davis in free agency as well as Gary Barnidge. I have some serious questions about the depth at this position behind Cameron. When you look at Davis's hands, they're inconsistent, and Barnidge is a guy that's serviceable at best. So there's some concern here for the tight end position. Browns have one of the better offensive lines in the league. They're led by 6-time Pro Bowler Joe Thomas, who's one of the premier left tackles in the game. And when you look at center Alex Mack, he's another good one that has been a rock in the middle for the last 4 seasons. John Greco, Sean Laval are 2 very solid guards. And last year's second-round pick Mitchell Schwartz got better each and every week and helped solidify the right side of that offensive line. There is also versatile depth behind these guys. When you look at Jason Pinkston, Ryan Miller, O'Neal Cousins, are guys that can play multiple spots along this front. And keep an eye on 7th-round draft pick Garrett Gilkey out of Chadron State. Gilkey played tackle in college, played left tackle, but he's likely to kick down inside as a guard and shows that versatility to be that swing tackle for the Browns if they need him to be. The Browns are moving to a 3-4 defense, and I believe this is one of the smoothest transitions I've seen a team make because of the personnel that was already in place on this roster. Nose tackle Phil Taylor and defensive tackle Atiba Rubin are good enough players that they can play in any front. Taylor is a guy that was injured most of the season last year and is returning at 100%, while Rubin will play the 5 technique in his defense, and he's one of the most unheralded defensive players in the game. Joining them will be free agent signee from the Oakland Raiders, Desmond Bryant, and at 6'6", 310 pounds, the 5-year vet provides good pass rushing ability from the outside. Last year's 6th round pick Billy Wynn will also see some time at defensive end and even time at tackle because of his versatility and working with Ray Horton's defense. There's also good depth behind these guys at the nose tackle spot with both John Hughes and Isamali Kitchen. Outside linebacker position is the lifeblood in any 3-4 defense. You have to be able to pressure the quarterback, and the Browns made this a point of emphasis this offseason by signing free agent from the Baltimore Ravens, Paul Kruger. Kruger played some good ball last season en route to a 9-sack year and a Super Bowl title. They also drafted super athletic Barkevious Mingo in the first round. Now, I'm conflicted on Mingo because I felt as though Jarvis Jones would have been a better fit, but you can understand why they went with the angular 6'4", 245-pound defensive end out of LSU. Mingo shows great length and has room to grow into a pass rusher that they envision him to be. Now, it seems the forgotten man is Jabal Sheard, but better believe he'll start opposite of Kruger, and Sheard is entering his 3rd season, and he's an ideal fit for this defense. There's also good depth behind these guys with Tank Carter and James Michael Johnson. I'm also intrigued by 7th-round pick Armani Bryant out of East Central. Bryant definitely has the athleticism, but has to clean up his act off the field. Otherwise, his stint in the NFL would be a short one. On the inside, there's DeQuell Jackson, who played at a Pro Bowl level last season after leading the Browns in tackles with 119 and also had 2 interceptions. Next to him will be Craig Robinson, who was an undrafted free agent last year but found his way on the field and finished 2nd on the team in tackles. Depth on the inside is a concern, so you can see some guys maybe like Carter or L.J. Fort to move down inside. I like what I see here in the secondary for the Browns. Joe Hayden is a pretty good football player and has been as good as advertised since the Browns selected him 7th overall back in 2010. However, losing Sheldon Brown in the offseason left the Browns with a hole in the field at the other cornerback position, and in the draft they selected one of my favorite prospects in Leon McFadden out of San Diego State. McFadden has a lot of Ray Buchanan-like skills to his game, and I think he'll do fine in either a press or zone situation. Free agent Christopher Owens will compete with Buster Screen for that nickel spot. Both guys are equally as capable in that capacity, so I think they'll be fine. And keep an eye on both Trevin Wade and undrafted free agent Akeem August, most likely battling it out for that dime spot. At the safety position, there's hard-hitting TJ Ward, who's a short tackler, and he imposes his will on every receiver that goes across the middle. And Ward should finally find himself in the Pro Bowl this year with the banner 2013 campaign. Last season, Tashawn Gibson was an undrafted rookie free agent that found himself starting a couple of games. Gibson has good range, but has to keep 6th-round pick Jamaris Slaughter at bay, who will also push for that starting job. I still view the free safety spot on this secondary as a question mark entering the season. In the special teams department, the Browns are replacing Phil Dawson, a longtime kicker, with Shane Graham, who's a 12-year vet out of Virginia Tech. He'll handle the kicking duties. And it looks by default Spencer Lanning will win the punting job. He was in camp with the Browns last season, 5'11", 200 pounds out of South Carolina. And there's a bunch of guys that could see time as the kickoff and punt returner, but most likely it's going to be Travis Benjamin, the 2nd-year man out of Miami. But also keep an eye on Prince Miller as well as Dion Lewis. Both guys, in my opinion, have some value as returners. Now let's take a look at what the Browns do have on this roster. Good defensive team with depth. That right there will keep you in a lot of ball games and ultimately win you some ball games. They have solid pieces on offense. We talked about the tight end Jordan Cameron. We talked about Trent Richardson. We talked about the receiving options. And they also have a great offensive line, keeping your quarterback well protected, opening up holes in the running game. You have a good front. You control the line of scrimmage. You can ultimately win some ball games. Now, when you look at the roster and see what they lack a playmaking free safety. They lack depth at tight end, and they don't have the depth at inside linebacker. So despite all of the stuff they do have on this roster, there's still some question marks heading into 2013. Reason for optimism for the Browns, you have to look at the 2 coordinators that they're bringing in. Norv Turner, who's an offensive mastermind, and Ray Horton, who's a defensive genius. When you combine those two with the talent that they have on the roster, there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic if you're a Browns fan. The cause for concern is that no Gordon to start the season for the first 4 games. A team that's young like Cleveland, that's looking to get ahead in a very tough division, they need all of their pieces at 100%. So the passing game could open up the season struggling, and that may be enough to keep these guys out of first place. road to the Super Bowl for the Browns goes as follows. Number one, the offense has to continue to grow and show some consistency. If they can do that, this team can be very dangerous. They can have a lot of balance with the running game and also operate off play action. Second, if the defense can make the transition to this 3-4 defense smoothly, this could be a very dangerous ball club. There's personnel in place for them to be successful, and they have to learn to finish games. Remember, this was a team that wasn't that bad last season. They were in a lot of ball games and failed miserably late. They lost a lot of games by 1 or 2 points. So they're close. They're right where they want to be. Just a few tweaks here and there, and this Browns team can find themselves in the playoffs. Have the Browns finishing 4th in the AFC North. This is a very tough division, and yes, the Browns do have talent, and I think their defense will be very competitive, but not having Josh Gordon, a big piece of your passing game, available for the first 4 games of the season could cause the passing game to struggle right out of the gate, and they can't lose any ground to anyone in this division, because I think this division will resemble the NFC East, in which is very competitive. One game may separate the first team from the 4th team. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Brown Fan Forums for always showing football game plan support.